let's just talk to our reporter Gladys Mungai, who is in Juja right now, also to give us an update on what's happening in that particular constituency. I'm so sure you'd also want to follow on what's happening. Gladys, you are in a different location right now. Give us an update on what's happening on the ground in Juja constituency, even as the voting process continues. Gladys.
We are at JKUAT campus, and this polling station is known as Jomo Kenyatta. This particular polling station has 12 polling station within one, and what is currently happening, I want to just take our viewers quickly through the process. And on my right, we have two officers who, when you just arrive here, they are in charge of just getting to understand your name as well as take your temperatures. You can see temperature gadgets on their hands. So when you just come here, that is the first step, to just take your temperatures. That is in regards to COVID-19 measures. And now to just move inside the polling station. And you remember that this particular area in Juja has over 100,000 voters. In the 2017 general election, we had over 114,000 people who are eligible to cast their votes, and we had over 91,000 casting their votes. 80% of that is 66,000 casted their votes in favor of the former MP, that is Francis Munyo Waititu, and many used to call him Wakape in the region. I'm now just entering one of the streams here at the polling station to just show you what is currently happening in this particular area. So when you just come here, this is the first stage where this particular clerk is charged with the responsibility of taking care of your documents, and also I can see some sanitizer at his desk. So that means before anything is done, you're sanitized to ensure that the area, all the clerks as well as voters in the region adhere to COVID-19 guidelines. Moving around, I want to believe these are also members of the voting exercise panel, who are supposed to oversee how each of the members of the public is guided in matters of how they cast their vote, as well as some waiting to cast their vote. I believe over the 10 candidates who are seeking to succeed Francis Munyo Waititu have their agents in here, and that is to ensure that all their things are taken care of. You'll then be directed to my extreme end on my right, where there are two polling booths. That's where you're supposed to choose whoever the candidate you are casting your vote in favor, and then cast your ballot in this ballot box in favor of your candidate. And as we move around to just show you how this by-election is being done, you can see a lot of gadgets on this particular table, as well as the voter register, where your name is supposed to be cross-checked across this particular register to indeed ensure that you are a voter in this particular polling station. And that is in line to ensuring that voters who come to vote in this particular polling station are indeed at the right place. You remember, we've had issues of voters moving from one particular polling station and going to a different one owing to the matters to do with directives. And the moment you just come to this particular polling station, you're first asked to say your name, and whatever letter your name starts with, you're guided to a particular polling station where you're supposed to cast your vote. And Victor, like we were at previously at Gashororo Primary School and a couple of other polling stations around, the voter turnout is still the same, but that is not to get surprised about, owing to the fact that previous by-elections have recorded tentatively low voter turnout across the country. And so we will be moving around matters security. Everything has been enhanced and everything is moving as planned, but the issue of voters coming out probably to cast their vote in favor of their candidate is not very pleasing, so to speak. And so we'll be waiting to see, probably move to other polling stations and see what the numbers have to say in those particular polling stations. Over to you, Victor.
Okay. Gladys, just before I let you go, you have given us a very good civic education on what's the process, on how an election should be conducted. Fair enough. But then the question is, for almost 4 or 5 minutes, we've not seen any particular voter streaming in there to cast his or her ballot. Almost all the officials there, as per your cameraman, are just sitting, waiting for people to vote. What is happening? What do you think has contributed largely to that? And how many polling stations do we have in that particular constituency?
I really get your concerns as first as a journalist and a member of the public and a Kenyan resident for that matter. And like you rightly put it, there is relatively very low voter turnout, and as you can see, there is no one casting their vote in this particular stream where I am at the moment. And I believe that could perhaps be contributed to the fact that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission banned the aspect of candidates campaigning physically like we're used to, and the aspect of campaigning on social media could perhaps have led to the numbers even dwindling even further, bearing in mind that not every other person is online, and perhaps reaching them would have been an issue. But that notwithstanding, the aspect of civic education is an issue that perhaps needs to be looked into, and candidates as well as members of the public, or those charged with the responsibility of conducting civic education, going outside there and educating members of the public indeed the rights of participating in the democratic process, and the pros and cons that comes with undertaking or partaking in an election exercise or by-election for that matter. And indeed, if they don't participate in that particular by-election, what they stand to lose, because they say, or it is said that if you the bad leaders are in power because people refuse to come out and vote. So later on, Victor, I'll be speaking to a few members of the public later on in our bulletins, and I'll be asking them probably why they opted for candidate X and not X, and bearing in mind the aspect of voting is a personal and a very private choice. So we'll not be expecting them to tell us indeed what candidate they are voting for, but we'll be speaking to them and getting to understand probably why they even came out to vote, what pushed them, or what ideologies by irrespective candidates made them to come and cast their votes. I believe I've answered your question correctly. Unless there is more question, I'll hand it over to you, Victor.
All right. Gladys, having covered elections in the past, it's quite open that Kenyans, we have got some kind of unique behaviors. Being on a Tuesday, we would need to excuse the voters in Juja that, you know, they woke up, they still went about their businesses, some took their kids to school, some went to, you know, to hustle, as they put it, to, you know, make a living here and there before they come and cast their ballot. But it should be noted that IEBC might not be pleased to extend the voter deadline. That should be around 5 p.m. If you don't have enough time to go and vote right now, then don't complain later on if your preferred candidate doesn't win. It's just that simple. Gladys, thank you so much. Let's get connected later on and give us an update of what's happening. For like around 8-10 minutes, Gladys, you're free to go now, all right? For like around 8 minutes, 10 minutes that we've been talking to Gladys, in that particular polling station, we have seen no one going to cast his or her ballot. That says a lot, all right? So we'll also have a package story, and we are going to give our reporters on the ground to give us an update on what's happening there, and we'll be updated on subsequent bulletin, that is 1 p.m., 7 and 9. All right? Dr. Joseph Rotich, my director, says that we are stuck of time, and we've actually gone past almost 2 hours today. All right, we've had a good time. I just need to thank you. Yes, exactly.
Of the reports that we have had.
Oh, exactly, yes. Let me just thank you for that, because we are running out of time, and we can do this again next Tuesday, all right?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, you as our viewer, for taking your time. We always appreciate Dr. Simeha from Vihiga and Dr. Masanga, who is also left already. We appreciate your valid company. Thank you so much. Let's do this again tomorrow. My name is Victor Lowe, and you have a good morning. Bye-bye.